Okay, let me see. Is this working? It sounds like it. Yay, my microphone is now working. Okay. So, I have quite a bit to tell you guys. I know it has been, a long while? Is it been 3 weeks since I was last on? Well, anyway, hello. This is Maya from MajasMagic, broadcasting from the UK. Yes, and I know I have a little bit of a weird light going on, but just bear with me with that. So let me see. Um, from some of the challenges, I want to today just explore some of the things that have been happening over the past week so that you know where I'm coming from and what is going to be happening on my YouTube channel. So, as you know, I told you before that in one of the previous videos, and this is not me whinging or whining or moaning at all, this is just parting out some information. As you know, as I've told you before, my husband is quite ill. He has a few major things going on, and he needs a lot of care. And he's with me at the moment, and he's not in Spain because of that. So, and there's a lot of doctor's visits and hospital visits, and well, it's a hoo-ha. So on top of that, I just went for a regular checkup to the doctors myself. And every now and then they ask me for a blood test, so that is what they did. They asked me for a blood test, so I went for a blood test. And a week later, that's how long it normally takes, he says, yeah, the doctor says everything is okay. So I'm thinking, yeah, let's go. But in the meantime, I had spoken to, I think it's called the practitioner's nurse, and telling her about a few symptoms that are so generalized. I was telling her I'm tired and I feel like as if I have lead in my legs and things like that, and that I've, shall I say, mood swings that aren't normal, that I haven't had before like this. So she thought, okay, well, you're on the perimenopause. Could be because I'm in that sort of age range, but it just didn't ring properly. She gave me then a sheet of paper to fill out. I had to fill out that sheet of paper, and I gave it back to her immediately. Anyway, I get home, and the same afternoon I get a call. You've got to come back into the surgery. So I go back into the surgery, and the doctor says, well, I think you are depressed. I would like to prescribe you some antidepressants. And I looked at him. I said, no, I am not depressed. And I definitely don't want any antidepressants. So he was umming and ahhing and looking at me as if I was crazy. Well, you know what I mean by crazy. not too nally, but sort of crazy. So then he just sent me away. A day later, I get another call. I have to come back into the surgery. So I say on the phone, for what? I've just been twice to the surgery yesterday. What do you want? So what happens is they said, yeah, the blood test wasn't complete. They had only sent part of the blood test back. We've now got the second half. The doctor's calling you back in. Right, so off I go again. back to the doctors to see what the results are, because they don't give it to you over the phone, or why or what or whatever. They don't give you information. So I go back and he says to me, oh, right, you have high cholesterol, you're pre-diabetic. And oh, by the way, here you have some information on the menopause. I said, I'm not in the menopause. So anyway, he just bangs me a leaflet, and he gives me a leaflet on that and sends me off and says, oh, by the way, I will put you on a list for some diabetes advice. I say, yeah, okay, diabetes advice. Oh, and here's a prescription for some thyroid medicine. So writes out the prescription for me, and he says, oh, and because you have to take them for your entire life, here is collect an exemption form at the front desk, and then you can get it exempt from the NHS, because you wouldn't normally qualify if you're, I don't know, there's an age limit and I can't remember what they said. Anyway, so off he sent me. I must say to that as well, that when you go to visit the doctor, you only get 10 minutes, right? So there's not much you can say anyway. After you've discussed a couple of things, they'll look up something on the screen, this, that, or the other, and then the 10 minutes are basically over and they send you home. And you can't book 20 minutes or half an hour if you think you want, because you'll have to book that like maybe a month in advance, something silly like that. Anyway, unless it's a super, super, super emergency, then they might think about it. So he sent me home with that. I must say it was quite a shock, because I feel rather healthy. I've always looked after myself, and well, anyway, so it was a shock. I'm thinking to myself, what do I do now? So I do what every other person would do. I go to the pharmacy, collect my thyroid medicine, make sure that I don't have to pay for it, because of course I haven't got the card yet from the NHS. So anyway, and then I start taking the thyroid medicine. And well, didn't take long, about a couple of weeks. And now please, everybody that's grossed out by brushed out hair, look away, okay? So after only about a couple of days, this is what happened. This is 1 day's worth, right? Now look away, gross alert. This is what happened. Okay, that's dust. Okay, those bits are dust from the hairbrush. But anyway, this is what happened. Gross. I'm thinking, what's going on? I'm not that stressed. I've had my hair falling out when I was ill, as I told you before. But that was when I was about 21 or something like that. When I'm stressed, my hair falls out. That's normal, but not like that. Well, anyway, I don't think anything of it. And I meet up with a friend of mine who's also on thyroid medicine, and we're just discussing things as we do, what's happened to her husband, what's happened to my husband, and so on and so forth. Normal chatter. And I tell her about the thyroid medicine, and she says, oh, have you started losing your hair then? I says, yeah, I have lost some hair. And then she shows me her scalp, right? And all of this part, she's virtually bare. You can see through to the skin. So she's just brushed everything over the top, so and hidden it that way. She's got deep black hair, so it's you can't see it that much. So I'm thinking there's something wrong with this. Right, then I start reading up. And, well, I find out that there's something called, and this is for your information as well, in case you do have similar symptoms like I have just mentioned, where you have mood swings, where you feel tired but unusually tired, you have lead in your legs, just general things like that, small little things. And I found out that this is called a metabolic syndrome. So what happens is I find out that in general, it links together with the sugar levels in your blood, as well as the cholesterol and the thyroid. So all three weren't functioning properly. So this is called the metabolic syndrome. And these are all precursors to type 2 diabetes. So now that, of course, after reading lots and lots of information, finding out, is it my thyroid? What can I do about my thyroid? Because I don't really want to take this medication anymore. And I found out, yes, for example, turmeric helps a lot, garlic helps a lot, and low carb eating helps a lot. Then I started reading up on diabetes, even though I know quite a lot about diabetes, but I didn't exactly know, is this something you can tackle to reverse or to stop, even if you're on the high level? And it turns out, yes, you can, also through dietary needs. So, of course, the only thing I knew by then was, yes, if you're overweight, you have to lose weight. And to do that, you have to eat low-carb diet. And you have to exercise more. And the leaflet that he gave me for that case, and I'll just show you this, is this booklet. Okay, it's, 11 pages, right? The first 3 pages are good news. Don't get too worried if you have diabetes. How do you feel? What does healthy mean? Being healthy mean? Are there groups to help you get healthy? Doesn't say what that actually exactly means. And then being active as an exercise. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. You are depressed? Questionnaire. I'm thinking, what? This is all of this, and the last page is advertising, right? Advertising. I'm thinking, there's nothing in there. The only thing it says is eat whole foods and exercise more. That's all it says in here. You see what the NHS spends their money on? No wonder they have no money. Right. So I was already super annoyed, so I started my own research. Okay, so obviously, yes. Now I had finally the excuse anyway to start losing weight, which I was going to anyway. So on the 9th of April, I started. That was before all of this happened with the doctors. I already started. Shh. See what I mean with anything can happen? Anyway, so I started on the weight loss and getting some foods out the house that are definitely not supposed to be there, and starting to eat smaller portions. Right, so in the meantime, I was doing my research, and it turns out that through another blood test that I had to do, that I'm actually lectin sensitive. Now, I won't go into what lectins are exactly. You can look it up, you can Google it. However, basically, there are certain foods that I'm sensitive to. It's not an allergy, so I won't blow up or die or anything like that. It will just disturb the nutrition intake, and it will also disturb the digestion. Okay, so lectin intolerance, foods with lectins in are pulses, tomatoes, cucumbers, aubergine, or eggplant as you call it in America, bananas, mangoes, loads and loads of things. However, one can reduce it by either peeling those and cooking them down very well, taking the seeds out, and or soaking those and pressure cooking. So all of those things can be done. So there are things you can do, and the list is fairly big, but not humongous, and you don't notice if you take some of those out. And everyone has a different sensitivity to certain things. So I thought, okay, I have to exclude those now. So I was then left with a high protein, low carb, and virtually lectin-free diet. And now one has to also take into account the sugars. So there's something called the blood sugar diet. Okay, you go on to it for 8 weeks, and that is once again, high protein, low carb, but also based on 5 days a week you eat normal, and 2 days you do like intermittent fasting with 800 calories on those days, those 2 days. So you do eat, you don't eat nothing. You have 800 calories. And you cut out all the starchy foods, all the sugary bits and bobs. That's normal anyway. That's low carb anyway. So basically, that is what I shall be starting from the 6th of June. And why? Because on the 6th of June, I have been invited to this diabetic chat group. Actually, it's not a diabetic chat group. What it actually is a course. So you have to attend for 12 months in total, of which the first 4 Mondays you have to go. Each session is 90 minutes, and they basically give you a lecture or teach you things. A lecture as in like a course information. What exactly, I have no idea. After that, you have to go every month, once a month. I haven't been told when that is yet. And that was a chaos. That was absolute chaos as well, because I first asked for something close by. Now, because I cannot necessarily rely on public transport here, and I cannot necessarily rely on having a car. So I needed it to be close enough so that I can walk. Well, I have found out this is about an hour's walk away. I haven't tested it yet because I haven't been there, but I will. That's one way, an hour, by the way. So what I will do is I'll have my husband drive me up to the place I have to be, and then I will walk back home, finding my way, because it's not that easy. I have to go through fields and around farmhouses and stuff like that. So because the roadway is far too dangerous to walk if I take the road route. So I have to go round the back, through the fields and so on. So that's going to be about an hour. So that was chaos. until they finally found a place for me where I can go that was close by enough. So those are the challenges I've had and those for the future. Right, what else shall I say? That is the reason with all these challenges and being back and forth, I have not been able to do any videos. Now, tomorrow, my husband's having a visit from his son. So tomorrow will be an off day as well, as in from YouTube recording day. What shall I say? I am hoping, guys, that I can finally do you some videos. I haven't washed my hair for the exact reason. As I said, I have stopped the thyroid medication. I'm going for a test next week, how it works with just my natural product. I shall see what the results are then. If they are bad, as in if they still say it's completely out of sync, then I'll have to revise what I am doing. If it's good, I'll just carry on as is. But however, I will be doing videos. And please don't press me, guys. I know you're all waiting for videos. And I haven't forgotten, I have not done a stroke in knitting, not a stroke in crochet. I have done absolutely nothing but running around and getting things sorted and getting my life sorted, basically, and having to completely refocus. So the good news after all of this is that since April 9th, I have lost over 3 kilos. Not quick enough, because I have to lose quite a bit more to make the difference. However, I did get my kit today. Let me see, where is it? Yeah, I did get my measuring kit, my blood sugar levels measuring kit today, and I have tested. I tested the first time today, and after 2 hours after lunch, I was in the normal range. Still quite high, as in the normal range is 3.9 millimole per liter, 3.9 to 5.5. Is that 5.5? Let me check, guys, because I'm not sure. Let me write it. Let me check. Okay, normal is 3.9 to 5.5 millimoles per liter. Yeah, and at the doctor's, he said I had high, so I was around the 6 millimole per liter. And today, after measuring, after lunch, as I said, for the first time, I'm 5.3. So that's a huge improvement, but that's got to get stable. But it does mean that if I eat anything slightly off the list and I don't watch out, it will spike, will go right up. So I do have to get that sorted. But that's the good news. So I will be posting, or I shall be now also adding a new playlist, if you like, having to do everything with the blood sugar diet, BSD, and everything what's got to do with that. I also have the weight loss, weight loss challenges, but that is old, so I will just put it underneath that, weight loss and blood sugar diet. And I will be posting some of the foods I've been eating, because I have started tracking that now. The last 3 days I've been tracking that. I've made photos and I've been tracking blood sugar levels. I'll start tracking those as well now. And some of the exercise that I've done. And I'm just counting the walking. I'm not counting what I'm doing throughout the day because I haven't got a pedometer that is working at the moment. The one that I have is very wonky and keeps switching off, and it's not to do with the battery. So I need to get a pedometer. I don't know how many steps I do a day, but I am guessing it is way too little. I don't think I average 5,000 steps a day. I think I average around maybe 3,000. So I have to speed that up to 5,000, and my goal is 10,000. My weight loss goal, but this is not now immediately, of course. This will take me most probably a year. Has to be, I have to be between 46 and 62 kilos. So that's humongous, guys. Okay, that means about 34 kilos I have to lose, right? Thereabouts. So it's a humongous task. I haven't weighed that in. I weighed 60 kilos last over 20 years ago. So that's a humongous task, and that has a lot to do with the lectins. Even though I was vegan for a time, then I was fruitarian for a time, and then vegetarian for a time. So I eat all of those foods. And now more or less keto, as in high protein, but vegetables as well as meats now. It will still take a lot of time. And as I say, the lectins had a good role to play, so I've got to get out of that. So I will be posting those videos as well, and I know lots of you won't be interested, but some of you will be. So from that point of view, this is the review of what's happening at the moment, and I will be posting as soon as I can, whenever I can, with all the challenges that are happening. I'm hoping I'll get to some of it, maybe even this weekend. And I have not forgotten about the knitting and the crochet, but that's at the back at the moment because I need to start sorting out my life, which is more important than knitting and crochet right now, even though that's a hobby I enjoy doing, and when I want to relax and I have time to relax, then I will be doing that. So I love you lots. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me today, and I will say goodbye until next time. Have a lovely week. Bye.